I love Ecuador, but some stuff is just ridiculously expensive or flat out impossible to get. So in this video, we're going to run through the products that we recommend buying before you come to Ecuador. So don't jump on that plane until you finish watching this video. It'll potentially save you a ton of money in surprise taxes too. Ready? Let's go. Welcome to the first video we've made in our new studio. What do you think? Love it? Hate it? Let us know in the comments below. We did splash out on a bunch of gear, including a decent camera, microphones, lighting, gimbals, and a bunch of smaller accessories. And how did I get all of this gear? I'll be honest, it was not easy because, well, we live in Ecuador. And anyone that spent any time at all in Ecuador quickly finds out that buying many of your favorite products here can be prohibitively expensive, difficult to find, or both. And I can hear your mind ticking over thinking, that's fine, I'll just jump on Amazon and grab whatever I need. But not so fast. The only Amazon here looks less like this and more like this. That's right, online shopping in Ecuador sucks. It just does. You can technically order from Amazon or a third-party courier service that can ship your Amazon order to Ecuador for you, but it is going to cost you a small fortune in import taxes. And please trust me when I say small fortune. Basically, anything that needs to come through customs is going to be an absolute nightmare. I know this sounds like I'm exaggerating, but unless you've actually dealt with customs in Ecuador before, you simply have no idea. If customs can sniff out a potential opportunity to charge you tax, please believe that they will hold your items hostage until you pay this tax. No amount of pleading is going to help you either. Trust me, I have tried it all.
Whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it.
Trust me,
God's sake!
it's for the best.
So it's absolutely best to avoid dealing with customs as much as possible. And to do this, you're basically left with 4 options. 1, you can pay a mule that's coming back from the US to bring your items. 2, you can use your shipping allowance attached to your temporary residency visa to bring in a container duty-free. 3rd, you can take advantage of Ecuador's 4x4 rule, which allows you to import items with reduced taxes so long as the value of the items are less than $400 and the weight is less than 4 kilos. And the last one is you can bring in as much as you can in your luggage when you fly here. And this video is only going to concentrate on this last option of personally bringing in your own items via the plane. And please feel free to like this video if we're provided value. We're now going to cover what you're allowed to bring, what we recommend you bring, and thirdly, we're going to cover some items that are available here, and so we just think you shouldn't bother bringing them in because they're easily available. And so what are we allowed to bring in by plane? Now for this, your first and honestly only resource for what you're allowed to bring, it should be the official guidelines. And I'll provide a link to these below, and yes, they are in Spanish, but you can easily translate using Google Chrome or similar. And the general rule is that you are allowed to bring in items without paying import taxes if they are deemed to be for personal use. And this is a very important distinction because customs can be very quick to suggest that your items are not for personal use and will happily slap you with a bunch of taxes. Most of the items you'll be bringing in your luggage will easily classify as personal use because they're going to be things like clothes, shoes, toiletries, things that are really no-brainers. But where it does get a little bit tricky and where you need to pay more attention to are the electronics. These have very defined limits for what they consider personal use. For example, you are allowed to bring in 1 new and 1 old laptop, mobile phone, camera, games consoles, and tablets, amongst others. So this means that you can theoretically bring in 2 mobile phones and 2 laptops, provided only one is new and the other is old or used. And honestly, I don't really think this is a great allowance because you'll obviously have a mobile phone on you that you're currently using, so you can basically just bring in 1 extra phone that you've purchased abroad. And you are also allowed to bring in 1 computer, a monitor up to 24 inches, a TV up to 32 inches, a drone up to the value of $500, and some binoculars, and there's some other things. But these are the ones that I find important for myself, but please go check out that list and have a look at the full details. And I personally find it a little disappointing that the law hasn't kept up with technology. And what do I mean by that is limiting the value of drones to less than $500. That really just narrows down the types of drones that you're going to be able to get legally without paying import taxes. And similarly, the maximum size of a computer monitor being 24-inch is actually very annoying, as it's very difficult to find any decent monitors in Ecuador that are bigger than 24 inches. And so, as an example, I wanted to buy a 27-inch iMac when I was visiting Australia last year, but ultimately decided against it purely because of the potential import taxes if I did. And I do encourage you to go and read the full list of allowable items, as it is quite long. And also, please familiarize yourself with the concept of family group, because this is what the limits apply to. And basically, a family group just means that the kids don't have a separate allowance, but the parents do. So, for an example, if you're traveling in a couple, then you can effectively double the above limits. Now that we know what we're allowed to bring, let's focus on the items we recommend that you bring. And for this, I'm going to get the help of my family, as we always seem to have heated discussions over what items are worthy of our precious baggage allowance. So Sarah, let's start with you. What type of presents do you like me to bring back for you?
I like the toys to bring and Gucci's.
Nah, you certainly do. Gucci's are like a tough stuffed animal. And toys, it's a very good point, because they can be super expensive here in Ecuador, especially if you're after the fancy brands like Lego or Barbie. And we always do like to think 1 or 2 birthdays ahead and make sure that we grab the bigger, more expensive presents from abroad. And Sebas, what type of stuff do you like me to bring from Australia?
I like Tim Tams or Twisties. It's my favorite.
You certainly
It's
do love
delicious.
those. And Vegemite, you like that too?
No, this is my favorite.
No.
Vegemite is for you.
No, okay, perfect, chicos. I'm happy to have all the Vegemite, and we can share the Tim Tams and the Twisties. And these food items, or the specialty food items, they are impossible to find here. These are obviously Australian items, but Americans obviously going to have their own foods, their creature comforts that they like as well. And honestly, a lot of them you're going to find really difficult to find here or very expensive. And so I do normally devote a large chunk of my luggage allowance to foods that I know I'm not going to be able to find here. Other foods that I normally bring are spices. Not the basic spices, but the more exotic mixes like your Thai, your Vietnamese, and your Indian. And this does include things like curry paste, bulk dehydrated coconut milk, and miso paste, that sort of stuff. But if you do like it hot, make sure you bring your own chili powder too, because honestly, Ecuadorians have a very weird relationship when it comes to spicy food. They love to drench a lot of their dishes in chili sauce or ají after it's cooked, but very rarely do you find them cooking with the spice itself. And I'm still trying to figure out why. So Michelle, please enlighten us. Why don't Ecuadorians like to cook with spice?
I think we just know that not all the people are into hot sauces, so we like to give them the option to add it if they want it. Other food items on the top of the list include the nuts, dry fruits, and nutritional yeast. I will also recommend bringing your own sport and vitamin supplements like the protein if you're into that.
And if I do travel somewhere without Michelle, she is very quick to give me a list of goodies to bring back.
Yeah.
And what's normally on this list, Michelle?
Generally, I request makeup, clothes, horse riding accessories, kitchen gadgets, and high-end or specialist electronics.
Your requests normally take up half my allowance, but it's okay because it's just so much cheaper than buying the stuff here. And makeup is a big one, especially anything that is more on the luxury end. What type of makeup do you normally bring in?
I don't wear too much makeup, to be honest, but my essentials are foundation, mask, eyeliner, lipstick, and good face and body creams that here can be costing the double or not being available at all.
And clothes, why do we bring these in?
I like bringing good quality cotton lace lingerie. That is my favorite. And for kids, I like bringing things from Carter's and Oshkosh that are cheap and somehow they grow with them.
That's true. And more so for specialty items like gym wear, horse riding attire, hiking, and camping clothes. They're going to be super expensive here. And it's also difficult to find expat-friendly sizes, as Ecuadorians tend to be quite a bit smaller. And this can be especially true for stuff like bras and shoes. Kitchen gadgets are also a favorite of ours. On one trip, I actually used 90% of my allowance on an espresso machine. And honestly, this is probably one of my favorite possessions, so definitely worthwhile. But other popular kitchen gadgets include stuff like instant pots and kitchen aids. Basically, anything that is specialized or high-end will be significantly more expensive here. And as for electronics, what do we generally focus on, Michelle?
Anything other than the very basic models of our accessories. For example, you just brought a bunch of electronics to make these videos, but I'm not really sure what you got exactly.
That's a good point. I would certainly recommend bringing anything relating to cameras or video equipment. So stuff like your lenses, your microphones, tripods, and lights are all super overpriced here if you can even find them. Now, what about cell phones? This is a little bit controversial, but should you even bother bringing in a cell phone anymore?
Well, the taxes for cell phones have significantly decreased over the past few years. I will say that if you just want a basic Android or a Huawei or a Xiaomi, then you're not going to pay too much more than in the US. But you are after something more high-end like an iPhone or a Samsung or a Google Pixel, then it's probably worthwhile bringing one of these that are going to be more expensive if you find it here.
Exactly. And with the Google Pixel, you can't even find them here. So
Yeah.
if that's your thing, make sure you buy it in the US. And the one thing that I will also add is that if you do bring a phone, make sure that it's unlocked first. And if you don't, you're potentially going to have issues with the carriers here. You might be able to get it unlocked eventually, but you might have to run through a few little hoops. And now for the things that I just don't think are worth using your allowance on. Let's start with TVs. You can only bring in a 32-inch TV via plane, and you can find these for similar prices as the US, so why would you bother? Also, other entry-level electronics I wouldn't bother with as they can be found here. We're talking about stuff like speakers or headphones, USB chargers, basic laptops, and even computers. And as for the kitchen gadgets, this is a little bit trickier. Ecuadorians love their fruit juices, so blenders are easy to come by, but more specialized products like quality juice extractors and dehydrators are not. So I'd consider bringing these if they are important to you. And basic drip coffee machines can easily be found here, but anything more advanced like espresso machines are going to be very expensive, so definitely bring one of these if you're into that. The coffee here is absolutely amazing, but consumer coffee culture is very far behind what we're used to. Tools are also tricky. For example, I wouldn't bother bringing in a basic drill because you're going to be able to find one here, but if you already own a quality, higher end or specialized tools that you know you're going to get a lot of use out of, then I'd certainly be tempted to bring them as you won't have anywhere near the same variety or quality to choose from. Hopefully you now have a much better idea of the types of products that you should be bringing into Ecuador. If you're still on the fence about bringing something, feel free to leave us a comment and we'll try our best to give you some guidance. But now we do want to share with you our vision for this YouTube channel. We like to think that our journey is helpful for other expats considering making the move to Ecuador. But these videos do require a lot of effort to make, which does take away from our main income producing activities. So yes, we do want to monetize this channel eventually. And once we get enough subscribers, YouTube will happily pay us for this content. But until then, you're very welcome to leave us a donation via the link in the comments. And all of these donations will go into our farm fund. One of our family goals is to purchase some land and turn it into a working farm. And once we reach our target, we'll purchase this land. We'll absolutely be keeping you updated with the progress of our farm fund, and everybody that donates is welcome to come and visit the eventual farm. And if you got value from this video but aren't in a position to donate, completely get it, I understand. Please feel free to subscribe and hit the like button. This also actually helps us out quite a lot. And that's it for this video, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.